Here is your latest African news. Your news highlights: Africa-wide. Africa Fast Roundtable on Climate Initiatives Ahead COP27 begins in Addis Ababa. Rwanda. Rwanda increases salaries of primary school teachers by 88%. Malawi. Malawi government demands $309.6 billion from US company for illegal mining. Diaspora. Atlanta's image challenged by the 1906 race massacre legacy of white on black violence. Africa-wide. Napoli president rules out signing Africans committed to Nations Cup. Diaspora. Airbnb removes Mississippi slave cabin from listing after viral TikTok video. Africa-wide. Africa Fast Roundtable on Climate Initiatives Ahead COP27 begins in Addis Ababa. Charting a new and sustainable economic model is at the top of discussions as the first African Regional Roundtable on Climate Initiatives kicked off in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia on August 2nd. The UN Under-Secretary General and Executive Secretary of the Economic Commission for Africa ECA Vera Songwe, alongside African finance and trade ministers, are among the stakeholders taking part in the forum. Ministers discussed the African Trade Exchange Platform, highlighting the need for fertilizers across Africa, especially since the continent has been heavily impacted by COVID, the Ukraine conflict, and rising food prices. Organizers of the three-day forum titled Towards COP27 African Regional Forum on Climate Initiatives to Finance Climate Action and the SDGs say their aim is to catalyze climate finance and invest flows towards building climate resilience in Africa. The forum also comes ahead of Egypt's presidency of COP27 that takes place in Sharm el-Sheikh next November. Rwanda. Rwanda increases salaries of primary school teachers by 88%. Primary school teachers in Rwanda will get an 88% pay rise starting in August. This is part of the country's incentives aimed at improving teachers' livelihoods. Under these new revisions, secondary school teachers will also see their pay increased by 40%, the country's education ministry announced on its official Twitter page on Monday, August 1st. The salaries for head teachers, deputy head teachers, and support staff working in public and government-aided schools have also been revised upwards. These decisions come into force from the payment of the teacher salaries in August 2022. Whereas Rwanda has increased teachers' salaries by 10% since March in 2019, statistics have shown that over 1,000 Rwandan teachers leave their profession monthly in search of better welfare. The new pay rise is part of a package that will incorporate incentives to improve the welfare of teachers and promote the quality of education in public and government-aided schools for general education and TVET. Malawi. Malawi government demands $309.6 billion from US company for illegal mining. Under instructions from the Minister of Finance, Malawi's Attorney General Thabo Chakaka Nyirenda has written to Columbia Gem House of Vancouver, USA, demanding $309.6 billion as claim for unpaid tax revenue in respect of ruby and sapphire minerals extracted from Chimwazulu mine in Cheu district by the U.S. company subsidiary Nyala Mines Limited. The Malawi government also claims interest at the commercial lending rate from the date the said taxes and royalties fell due to the date of payment within 30 days from the date the notice of claim was issued on July 26, 2022. There will also be a claim of 15% collection costs on the same $309.6 billion and failure to pay or indicate how the U.S. company intends to settle the said sum. The state of Malawi reserves the right to institute criminal proceedings on money laundering and tax evasion charges against Columbia Gem House and Nyala Mines Limited and all persons involved in the evasion of the taxes. The government of Malawi indicates that ruby and sapphire at Chimwazulu mine are mined and sold to the world market by Nyala Mines Limited through Columbia Gem House in the USA, which then sends it to China for cutting and polishing. The polished minerals are then sent back to the USA and marketed through Trigems, which is a retail outlet for Columbia Gem House owned by Eric Browart. Diaspora. Atlanta's image challenged by the 1906 race massacre legacy of white-on-black violence. Everyone who moves through downtown Atlanta today passes places where innocent black men and women were pulled from trolleys, shot in their workplaces, chased through the streets and beaten to death by a mob of 10,000 white men and boys. But few know about the 1906 Atlanta Race Massacre, which shaped the city's geography, economy, society, and power structure in lasting ways. Much like the Red Summer of 1919 in the south and northeast of the Tulsa Race Massacre of 1921 in Oklahoma would years later, the white-on-black violence in Atlanta shattered dreams of racial harmony and forced thousands from their homes. A grassroots coalition is working to restore Atlanta's killings and their legacy to public memory. Historic markers and tours are planned for this September's anniversary. These activists say the massacre doesn't fit comfortably in Atlanta's cradle of the civil rights movement narrative, but they insist on truth-telling as some politicians push to ignore the nation's history of racial violence. Mislabeled a riot, the killings of at least 25 black people and the destruction of black-owned businesses had a specific purpose, thwarting their economic success and voting power before African Americans could claim equal status. The violence began where Georgia State University's campus is now. Enraged by unsupported headlines about attacks on the white women and the evils of race mixing, the mob set fire to saloons and pounced on black men and women headed home from work. Africa-wide. Napoli president rules out signing Africans committed to Nations Cup. Napoli owner and president Aurelio De Laurentiis said the Italian club will avoid signing any more African players unless they agree to not play in the Africa Cup of Nations. Senegal defender Kalidou Koulibaly, now at Premier League side Chelsea, and Cameroon midfielder Andre-Frank Zambo Anguissa missed 6 Napoli games while on international duty at this year's tournament, which took place in January and February. Koulibaly and Zambo Anguissa missed Napoli 1-1 draw with Juventus in early January and the Coppa Italia defeat by Fiorentina. Meanwhile, Senegal won the Nations Cup for the first time to spark wild celebrations back home, while host nation Cameroon finished third. Koulibaly spent 8 years at Napoli and responded to De Laurentiis' comments by saying, "It is important to respect everybody." The current rules of the world's governing body FIFA stipulate that players must be released for the Nations Cup despite its mid-season timing in Europe. The next edition of the Nations Cup will be held in January and February 2024 in Ivory Coast, having been moved from its initial dates of June to July 2023 because of weather concerns. Diaspora. Airbnb removes Mississippi slave cabin from listing after viral TikTok video. Airbnb has removed listings where enslaved people in the U.S. once lived following a viral TikTok video slamming a Mississippi property described as a slave cabin. Airbnb added that the company is working with experts to develop new policies to address other properties associated with slavery. The property at the forefront of the controversy is the Panther Barn Cottage at the Belmont Plantation in Greenville, Mississippi. It is no longer listed on the site. The Panther Barn cabin is an 1830s slave cabin from the extant Panther Barn Plantation to the south of Belmont. It has also been used as a tenant sharecropper's cabin and a medical office for local farmers and their families to visit the plantation doctor. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, follow and share our video. It's the best way of supporting us. And remember, Africa is watching.